We're talking to the Wood Group PSN contract management team for our offshore asset.
And
operations and maintenance contract.
what do you want them to do?
And we want them to adopt, re-engineer to rejuvenate and finance their workforce.
Rejuvenate. I like that. What's the objection going to be?
The objection is going to be no time for training.
Yeah, there is no time. Who wants it? Who wants to do it?
I'll do it.
You do it? Okay.
What's your objection? You have no time for
No time for training.
You know there's no time for training. It's true. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to be here. On the way over here, I was thinking to myself about Lance Armstrong in the news just now. Blood transfusions. Bit of an ethical issue there. Man achieved massive performance, huge performance, but motivation was entirely wrong and all the rest of it. But it got me thinking. The blood transfusion process, how did that kick off? At some point in history, somebody actually took a dog, blood from a dog, and injected it into himself. Understood that damaged blood needed to be replaced. Blood's red, my blood's red, dog's blood's red. How hard can that be? You can't kill people easy. So you go, I'll go with the dog blood first. Didn't work out too well. That was then. Come forward a few years, and now we're more than happy to rock up to the National Blood Transfusion Service and donate blood that's going to be used to save people's lives, people who've been in accidents, people who are having operations, and we don't think about it. Over time we've learned all about blood types, compatibility issues and so on and so forth, but what we know for sure is that blood transfusions saves lives, it brings people back to excellent health, and I see our re-engineer program as our opportunity to rejuvenate our business. The business is aging, it's losing people, something we need to work with very rapidly. Talking to you as contract managers, I worked offshore for 6 years on the Scotland other platforms with guys who've been through the re-engineer program, who came from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and so on and so forth, with no offshore experience, but they have compatible skills. They have energy and youth, they have drive and ambition, and their impact on the asset is clear and documented. The problem we're facing, just to give us some context, has been documented by the ECITV, our own industry training board. They see 40 to 60% of the engineering and construction workforce departing due to retirement by 2017. That's within 5 years. How that relates to us? Offshore we have 3,000 people across all the disciplines. So without getting down to the O&M piece specifically, just in that region alone, we lose 1,200 to 1,800 people. As I say, that's across all the disciplines. But we're looking at specifically, our O&M team have done some studies and worked out that we need 80 people, 80 new starts per year just to stand still and cope with projected growth. How are we going to find these people without bringing in outsiders? People coming out from, so people coming out from forces come with largely compatible skills. There's a little bit of rework to be done, and what I want to do, what I want to talk about today, is how we do that. Looking at the background of these guys, this photo is taken of the ground crew of our Britain flight. Kind of hard to see, the Spitfire here, and there's a Lancaster bomber. All these guys are ex-RAF grid crew. They've been looking after Typhoons, Apache helicopters, that kind of thing. The most advanced technology in the world today. There's nobody wants to end up fighting a Typhoon. These are the guys who keep an aeroplane that cannot fly in the air. This is complex stuff. These guys in particular have chosen to come down to the Battle of Britain Memorial site, it's a Bursting Museum, and look after this Lancaster, keep it in the air. And the thing was built 70 years ago. They can adapt skills they learned to keep computer-controlled airplanes in the sky. They've adapted those skills to keep this thing, which is virtually a tractor, in the air. That's the kind of adaptability, that's the kind of drive, that's the kind of skills we want in our teams. These are high-quality, motivated people who are looking to make an impact in the industry. How then, the important bit for us then is how is that we select the right people. Selection is a key part of the re-engineer process. These are the people we're looking for. For example, I'm sure some of you are familiar with our Nick McCann, who's now Business Acquisitions Manager, ex-RAF officer. We have a comment from Tony Spice, who's our Integrity Manager, Head of Function. He came to the assessment centre where we were looking for, from a pool of about 20 guys, we were looking to pick 16. Tony expected a bunch of automatons who would wait to be told what to do. He was stunned at the innovation, the teamwork, the collaboration of these guys pulled together, basically in a high pressure situation, a room full of strangers who they have to impress, and they're working together like that. Third piece was our Ian Redshaw, who works at TTE, which is a training centre, similar kind of attitude. He's got a room full of 11 guys, he had to tell them to slow down, otherwise he's got nothing left to teach them. These people adapt, overcome very quickly. We need people like that because we have a huge range of assets, some old, some very new. We have a range of conditions that they need to adapt to, and they need to do it collaboratively, they need to work together. Those are the people we're looking to select. Just bear with me a second. Berlin. The Lancaster bomber is of a vintage that would have supplied the airlift to Berlin during its isolation and when the Iron Curtain first came down. Berlin, perhaps in the 70s, 80s, Berlin now. A struggling economy, a prosperous economy. These both were combined in 1989 when the wall came down. And the major fear around the world that hit the stock markets was the East Berlin and East Germany was going to be a massive drag on the German economy. German economy is central to the European economy, as we know now. I would suggest that the German economy has not only survived, but has gone on to prosper. They embraced the difficulties, they used the skills they have to bring everybody up to speed, and 20 years on, it's impossible to spot the divide between the two sections of the city. Through structured training, which has already been endorsed by the ECITD and the people, through the training of our assessors, people who exist on the platforms already, we will transition these guys into useful people within 6 months, within 18 months. Validation for that, we have Colin, who's who's about to be promoted to the ISC team role on the Shell platforms, and that is the senior offshore representative position on the contract, the engineer. Danny Coffey, recruited last year. I think you might be able to show you a little bit about Danny. Can't even see it. Excuse me, sorry. Danny Coffey went offshore in November last year, and in January he's agitated to get his VQ level 3, and we had budgeted 9 to 18 months. Andy Wright, recruited last year, went offshore, is now competent instrument person on the Shearwater platform. Who else do we have? Mark Gardner, well, I'm showing the hummingbird. A key member of the team who looks after their marine control systems, came from the Navy. All these guys are recruited, doing a great job offshore, except unfortunately our Lance, due to family reasons, decided to go home and look after his mother-in-law. So, to summarise, we have excellent people. We have recruited excellent people who transition very quickly into their new roles, delivering value on the assets they work on. It does not take long to do this. The selection process clearly understands what it is we're looking for. We have set exercises to make sure we get the right people. The engineer is a process by which we can deliver people who will rejuvenate our aging, rapidly depleting workforce very, very quickly. Something we need to do. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The only sort of question I would ask is that we don't really have time for training these days.
Time for training. It certainly takes time. It has an impact. When you're training, perhaps you're not being productive, but I would argue that training is important and beneficial. Like perhaps, have you done survival training?
Yeah.
Would you prefer not to have done it?
No.
Do you believe it might not add value to the business directly, but do you find it reassuring?
And yeah, definitely saw the value in it.
Is there anybody in your team that you believe shouldn't have had that training?
No, I can't think of anyone.
So training, I fully accept, has an impact. Yes, it impacts productivity, but it's a necessary part of a growing, sustainable workforce.
Okay, I get that.
That was good.
Yeah, I've got nowhere to go now.
Well, do you know, I mean, I like this. We're pulling in people and getting them there quick. It looks like we're getting them quicker to where we need them to be, and we need the people. I like this idea.
Okay. What I need from you guys today is set a date in the diary when we can get around the table and work out a plan to get this message across to the clients so we can get started on your next step.
All right.